So this is the stage that we used for the previous assignments. I'm just bringing this one back in. You don't have to. You don't have to keep all this stuff that's in here. So there's like a thumbnail layer and a monster layer. We are going to have what do you call it? An obstacle, but you don't necessarily need all those layers in there. Well, you can repurpose them as well. Okay, so this character, we're all familiar with him. I know that I'm going to want this character to be significantly smaller for this, so I'm just going to try to fit the character's action all onto one screen. So I'm just going to keep him over here, and that way I won't have to do a camera move or anything like that. If you do need to do a camera move, I'll get into that next week, but we don't really need to have a camera move in this assignment, so I'm going to avoid it if I have to. I'm going to lock my floor layer. I'm not going to be using it. I'm going to add a drawing layer. I just want to figure out who my little monster character is going to be here now. So let's draw my little monster. What should I draw? Yeah. So just to have a rough obstacle here. So this my obstacle is going to be this weird like pig cyclops thing. My drawing is only on the first layer here, so I got to go to the end and extend exposure, which is F5. So there's my little monster. I'm going to make him quite a bit smaller here. Okay, so my character is going to jump. He's going to jump over this little thing, and he's going to run towards it. Okay, so I'm going to lock my drawing layer. So now I just have my character master file. Okay, so I have to start from a neutral pose. Okay. My character is going to be looking towards the monster. I just want to nail that down right away, right? So if I have my eyes locked in where he is in the first frame, and I have that layer, that's always going to be there. So now I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to adjust it as I go through, but the vast majority of the work will be done for me now. So I don't have to worry about it too much. So just starting with a basic neutral pose, you don't want your character standing in a weird kind of like Da Vinci's Atom pose. Always find a nice relaxed pose for your character to start in. For mine, it's just going to be a neutral pose. I'm not going to get too fancy here. Okay. Maybe I'll have my character be a little like grossed out by this monster. Why not? Let's get back into the library. When I want to flip through drawings, I just click on the image I have, and it's the two bracket buttons to the right of the letter P, and that lets me flip through them. At this point, guys, you guys should know all this stuff, but, I'm drilling you guys with this stuff because this is the proper way to character animate, and I want you guys to have this pattern of working down. So this term is really just drilling this pose-to-pose animation style into you guys so that we can all work from the same place and all have the same kind of similar language. Moving forward, you're just going to refine this, and you're going to be doing more things like adding more drawings, doing a lot more motion tweening, and using a lot more bones and deformers to get a lot of character stuff going on. We're limiting our deformers right now to just the body because it's kind of a simple place to start and get used to the idea of deformers. But a lot of characters have deformers through their arms and legs, and that's something the new models you'll find in DC Connect today do have deformers in the legs and arms. Again, you don't have to use that for this assignment. So I have this neutral pose. Now I can use this. Oh shite! Now I can use this neutral pose as my landing pose as well. So I'm going to bring my character over here. He'll land over here, probably a bit lower. Okay, and I'm going to open him up a bit because he's going to look back at the monster. Okay, so again, I have to block out these poses first, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm blocking out my scene, blocking out my character, making sure I have it just so, and it's working just so. You know, a little bit of work here saves you work down the line. Things like this where I can take poses that I've already created that work and just manipulate them a bit to be a new pose is always a better thing. So I'm group selecting the face here, and I'm moving it to the left, which is going to make it feel like the character's face is moving. If I grab the left eye and the nose and the mouth and the eyebrow and move it away from the right eye, it's going to make it feel like the face is moving towards us, and we're seeing more of the flat plane of the face. Okay. I'm now going to move the eyes to the right. Character has successfully jumped the pig monster, Psy Pig. Maybe I'll give him a big grin because he's done it. Okay, so these are my two poses to start. Okay, so now I have a sense of where my character is going. Okay, so now I want to think about jumps. So my character's jumping and he's running, right? So the big contact pose is what I talked about. So he's going to start off of this leg, land on his back leg, land on his front leg. Okay, so my character is going to run forward, and right before he jumps, he's going to be running forward, so his body's going to lean forward, and this leg is the one that's going to contact onto the floor before he jumps. And this is going to be the down pose of my run that I was looking at DC Connect. I was looking at those run examples. There's always a pose where the character is at his lowest, which is when his leg contacts and fully touches the ground. There's another pose right before this pose where the heel is touching the ground, but this is like the contraction down pose where your character is really stretched out usually. Now, if my front leg is forward, that means my front arm is back. Okay, that's called contrapposto. When one arm moves forward, the other arm moves back. When one leg moves forward, the opposite arm is back. So it's always opposite. So if your left leg is forward, that means your left arm is back. So we want to make sure that that's correct too. So my character is going to be in this pose right before he jumps. On the down pose, everything is collapsing a bit, so I can do a bit of squash and stretch on my body here. My head is going to come down with the body a little bit. Okay, and right now I'm just blocking in these poses. I can manipulate these and work them over as I go, and you will see that I will do that a lot. Okay, so now I have this, that, and that. Okay, now this pose, I can use this pose again because there's going to be 2 steps in my run. Okay, so this run, I'm going to now need to find the midpoint of this run. It'll probably be like there. So that'll be the next step forward, okay? But this leg is going to be a different leg forward this time, okay? So this leg will now be the forward leg. So essentially, I just match this leg to that leg. Then this leg goes back. Okay, And again, I'm thinking about the hips as like a 360 thing. So the leg is moving on a swivel forward. So when the hip moves back, this is the hip moving back with the front leg going backwards. That means the hip is moved backwards from this position where the hip is forward. So that also means that the shoulders will be doing the inverse. So this shoulder is going to be moving forward and probably in front of the face, while this arm moves backwards on the shoulders. Yeah. Okay. You'll notice my eye line is now wrong. My eyes are looking down on the ground. So again, I want to, he's watching the monster. Okay. Could such a cute Cyclops pig really be a monster? Okay. So now I have the starting pose, my down pose, and my settle pose. Okay. So you can get through these pretty quick. I think I've only been posing here for 10 minutes or so. But of course, I also have 2 decades of professional experience, which you guys are a bit short on at this point. But I know you guys will get there. But I guess what I really want you guys to see is that you can reuse a lot of these poses, right? You can reuse a lot of the work that you're creating here and let it help you move forward quicker. Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's use this pose again. I'm going to use it as much as I can. And I'm going to be able to create a variation of this pose here as my landing pose as well. So, you know, the character is going to contract when he lands. So I have my character contracted here. So I might as well use that as a bit of a contraction pose here too. So he's going to land more squared though than he did when he was like jumping. So I'm going to have him really come down and like, you know, like an accordion. He's going to fold like an accordion, they say in tough guy films. So here we go. These hips ain't looking good, guys. I'll make that work. I've maybe made his butt go down too far. Okay. Looking for broken limbs here. So you look at his knee here. It's got this little butt there. That's the kind of contact point I just want to smooth out. Make sure I'm getting that. Same with the ankle here. You can see this little bump on the butt of the butt. Getting stuck in circles, guys, of the ankle there. So you want to make sure that's all correct too. Okay. The head's coming down onto the chest. And then the arms will go all the way forward at this point, probably. And again, this is just my guess at this stuff. Once I start playing with the motion of it and I have these keys in and blocked in better, I can decide to make changes as I go forward. But I'm just kind of like thinking on the fly here how I'm going to want this to work. I'm going to have his eyes close on the contact point here. He's going to really hit hard. So let's make that work. I'm just doing a bit of squash and stretch on his eyes here, guys. Oh, I'm going to screw things up. Flipping through the... Come on now. Flipping through the eyes here. And I'm going to have his head slide down here so it looks like his face is moved down on his face here. Look, his face is moved down on his face here. That's right. That's what I said. Okay. And then he's up. Okay. So there. Now I'm going to match his feet. You know, in 2D, you always want your feet to match. So his landing point is super important. His feet should definitely match up with where his his feet have to match up. So I blew up that foot there, or I shrunk that foot there, and now I'm paying the hurt and pain for that. Gotta fix that up again. Okay, put that there. So guys, what's the good Black Friday or Cyber Monday deal? What's the Cyber Monday deal you guys are all going crazy for? What are the cool kids buying on Cyber Monday this year? Okay, what did I do here? Why is this happening? Oh my god! Oh, I really farted that up. Did I really do that? This is the one that's supposed to go behind. Oh no! Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, what have I done? So my layering is screwed up here. I don't know what I did. Trying to figure it out. Yeah, that is the right leg. Okay. Let's go to my top view here. I got it way up there. Oh wow. So I always tell you guys it's alt up and down. But what you can do is you can keep it selected. You go onto the top layer and you just move, and it'll highlight the image, and you can see it's below. So what all these other layers are here, that's all the other layers of the character. Somehow my leg had moved way far in front of all of them. So I'm just moving it up by pressing the up arrow, and you can see it goes back to its position it's supposed to be in. So that's a little screwy. Who knows how I did that? You would hope that I would know, but sometimes I just do things by accident. Maybe I hit a key or something. And shortcut I was unaware of that got me. Yeah. So here we go. So jump, landing, like that. Maybe my monster can be moved over a little bit here. I got to readjust. Oh, that's good. Okay, so Mia is not buying anything. Rachel is a broke college student, LOL. Mohammed and Jericho are also broke. Guys, I hear you. You're broke. It sucks. I don't know if there's I'm sure there's tons of things you guys would want. I don't know that there's anything I would actually want. I need a ladder to clean out my eaves troughs, so maybe I'll just borrow my little neighbor's ladder. Probably won't buy a ladder. Okay, so there we go. I got my starting pose, down pose for one leg, down pose for the other leg, landing, and settle. Okay. So I'm going to need an overshoot settle here. So maybe I'll just do that quick here. So this is just going to be an overshoot. So I always like a settle, guys. I'm a big fan of a good settle. My boss, Lou Solis, is the master of the settle. And I've been watching him do lyrical settles on characters for years, and he gets a lot of mileage out of it. And it's something where you've already done the main pose, so you might as well reuse the main pose a little bit and get a little bit of mileage out of it by just tweaking it just a little so and getting a nice settle. And that's what Lou does, and I'm a big fan of it. It softens your animation. It keeps it moving for a little bit longer, which always looks nice. And it just makes your animation look nicer. And it's pretty easy. You can see how quickly I've done this settle. And that'll get me an extra 6 frames of animation, which is a quarter of a second. So, you know, my timeline will look that more populated, and people will be so impressed. Okay, so there you go. There's my little settle. Okay, so what I need now is I need an antic out of this position into the run. I need the high pose for the runs, and then I need the big top pose for the jump, and then I need the takeoff pose and the about to land pose for the jump. So I'm getting through this pretty fast. I think I'll finish the run off first. So this will be the takeoff pose. Not the, well, it'll be the high pose of the run. Okay. So the high pose of the run, if this is the foot that's down, this will be the foot that'll be extended here. And generally, you kind of want your high pose halfway between those two poses generally. But you want to be able to see that arc. So the whole point of breakdowns, guys, is that your computer can do a lot of the work for you once you've given it enough breakdowns. So I want to give my computer enough breakdowns that I can just turn on the auto tweening, and then I can just turn on an audio book and not think and easily tween this scene, which is what we'll do next week. I just want to get all these breakdowns done with you guys this week. And again, just going over the process again of how I like to animate and work, and what I think is a really good way to animate professionally, so that you guys can simulate this yourself. Okay, make sure that's working. So then the leg is coming forward, right? So this pose, the leg is not extended forward into the connect pose yet. So we're seeing the leg come through here, but it hasn't extended. So you can see on the hip, the leg is back here, and then the leg is here closer to the middle, and then it's closer to the front. Oh, maybe this should be even further back, guys. So yeah, that gives it more space to move, which I like. Then I'll bring this back, and that's the leg traveling forward. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then I got to make the arms, give the arms a little bit of action here too. Something like that. I feel like the head could be a bit higher. Let's make the head higher, guys. Why not? We're in charge. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pose here, going to copy it, and I'm going to move it to the front of my pose here. So now this is also going to be the takeoff pose between here. So now what I got to do here is I just got to adjust the legs, right? So I'm happy with the posing of the body. Fart. I'm happy with most of my posing here. It's worked out pretty well, but now what I have to do is I have to change it so that it's the other legs. The legs and the arms are switching on which one's pushing off, right? So this leg will be the one coming forward now. And then this leg will be the one that's extending. So this doesn't feel like he's going, but you know what? I have to add an antic. So I think once I add the antic, maybe that pose will feel more dramatic. This arm is coming forward now into that pose. So we're going to be seeing it stay further back now. So back. And then this arm will be the one that'll be coming a bit more from, backwards. But because it's coming from an antic position, I'm probably going to have to adjust that one a bit. Because I don't know what the antic position is going to be yet. And again, I reserve the right to make these changes. I don't have to be married to any of this stuff yet. And I think I'm probably going to have his eyes closed on that pose too. Okay. Yeah. So now I have the launch, contact, launch, contact. Pardon me. Contact, impact, settle, overshoot, settle. So what I need now is I need the antic pose before the run. So my character's moving forward and down. So I think I'm going to have his antic come down. You know, with antics, you want to make it, you know, trigger the mind into realizing like there's about to be movement started. And generally, you have your antic go away from the position you're going to be moving in. So if my body's moving up, so it's moving up. So I'm going down, so he'd be coming down and then up. Or should I go down and then up? So I'm just trying to figure out, you know, when I'm thinking about this stuff, often I'm thinking like, I'm thinking of the future. So I'm thinking like, if my character is here and he's moving here, you know, that looks like a simple enough movement. But I have an antic, and what I can do with my antic is if I make it come down like this, what I'm doing is I'm making the movement go like that, right? So the movement would be coming around like that. But if I bring my antic up, what I'm doing then is I'm making the movement do that, right? So it's different ways of like, you know, or I could bring my movement down and then the movement would be more like that, right? So you're kind of like visualizing what you want your antic to do. But because the character is coming down and then he's running like that, so maybe I do kind of like this down one because then that becomes that, which is kind of a nice movement. And I think that would be pleasing to the eye. So I'm kind of thinking of like the overall movement I'm going to get out of the arc, which I'm creating with my antic, right? I'm creating that idea. So that's kind of what I'm always considering when I'm making my antic. Like, what way do I want to go? I think I do want to go down. Oh, fart, I'm still in draw mode. Get out of here, draw mode. His arms come up a bit here. Play with the layering just a bit. And, you know, the arms are coming down, so that'll give them a bit more space to move, which will be fun. Try to always accentuate the next movement with my antic as well. Oh. Oh, but the legs. This will be tougher because now the leg is moving back. And this is the leg that generally I would, if I'm going this far back, I'd want to step back. I don't want that to feel bad. Let's see if I can pull it off. I don't know if I'll be able to pull this off. I might have to reposition the body a bit because I've already done so much with this leg. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, I think I can make that work. But I'm going to have to rejig the body a bit here. Okay. Now this antic. What can I do here? Maybe I can compact. Boom. Boom. I guess. I'm not loving this antic. I'm going to have him close his eyes here. Maybe I'll accentuate it with his facial acting a bit, and then I'll be able to get more of a... And then maybe I'll make him into a scaredy cat when he's running. And bring this face down. Thank you for the bless you, Rachel. Down. Forward. Yeah, I don't love that. Anyways, it works. Okay, and then I'm going to change these eyes to scaredy cat eyes. Okay, is he still locked on the pig? Yeah, he's still looking at the pig good. Antic, moving into it, still looking at the pig. And you see his eyes have to adjust at a certain point. They have to come down a little bit. And you want to nail this down in the key posing stage where his eyes are looking, because then you it stays consistent. And the tweening will do the work for you. So there you go. Antic, running, yeah, okay. So you can see my posing is working out well. The running is working. I'm pretty happy with the length of my jumps. I'm not going to have to use a camera move, which is nice. I didn't really want to have a camera move. So now let's do my last three poses. The big one is the jump. So the big jump is the transition here. We'll do the jump first. And you know what? I think I can use this pose. Oh, wait, what leg is he jumping off of? Yeah, the front leg. Yeah, so I'll use this pose. So again, I'm reusing poses that I've already done. So I'm going to move these over. I'm going to hit F6. I'm going to grab that pose. I'm going to throw it in there into that spot that I created for the jump. So when I look at it, it's going to look weird right now. But now I'm going to move this over. I'm going to manipulate this pose. Oh, wait, no, this is kind of more like the takeoff. Well, that's fine. I can put that there anyways for now. So that'll essentially be something like that'll be my takeoff pose. And I'll fart around with that later. But then I also need, come on now, don't be a silly goat. So something like that'll be my takeoff pose. I'll have to manipulate that a lot. But then my jump, maybe I can fart around with that. Okay, so this will be the high point of my jump. I want my character to come down. How are things going this term, guys? Are you guys getting pretty heavy with all your work? It must be getting pretty intense, right? All the finals are starting to pile up. I'm going to move the head up so we're really looking up at his face here. Might have it's kind of fun. That as big as it gets? Yeah, it's as big as it gets. Wee! Boop! 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 Yeah, so maybe I'll move over the monster again a little bit here. No, Charlie, you never, ever, ever hand in the Harmony file. Please export the file. That is officially due tonight, but you can take a little bit extra time if you want. But yeah, never, ever, ever submit a Harmony file. I do not ever want to open up a Harmony file unless I have to on here. And then additionally, do not zip a file. I know when we were in class together last year, I would always tell you guys how much I hate zip files. And I probably haven't been doing that as much online. But guys, be assured, I still hate zip files. If you email me work for me to look at and for us to talk about together, I would ask you then to zip it. But I don't ever want you to send me a zip file for marking. I just want to be able to double click on that bad boy in DC Connect and watch your video and make decisions that affect your future. So it's working, guys. It's working pretty good. I gotta get this contact pose better. This takeoff pose is not looking good. Just a bit more. So his arms will fly up and then around his head. I'll start to have them come up here. We'll come down. I have that arm going down here, but that's not what I'm going to have it do. I'm going to have it go up. Super Mario Bros. Style. He's reaching for the sky. And the whole world loves it when you go and stop. Have him blink when, oh, you farter. When he comes down hard here. Have this face come down here. So again, I reserved the right to make changes as I went, and I am always making changes as I go to improve things. Just because I feel like I finished a pose 5 minutes ago doesn't mean it's finished 5 minutes later. Sometimes you got to make changes. So I've decided I want him to close his eyes right before takeoff, and then he'll open his eyes when he gets to the top here. And we'll get his big eyes here. And that way we'll get a bit of movement on the face too, so it'll look like his face is really ooh we'll get like that fake depth that I was talking about wanting to get. So now it'll look like his face is moving up, down, and going up. And actually, you know what, here we'll have the head continue to stay down a bit, and then that'll feel more impactful when it comes up. Too much. Got to save a bit of movement there for the end. This arm might be problematic. I'm looking at this arm now, and I'm not super happy with how it's going. And I kind of like that motion, but it's just not going to be doing much at this point. Like, it comes down, and bring it down further and still make it look like it's extended. And then it comes up. Yeah, see, it kind of stays in the same spot. which is not ideal for animation, right? You want things to keep moving. Okay, so there's that. So now I just need to have the pose right before he lands. Then that should be all my breakdowns. So guys, this will end up being a shorter class than I thought. You guys can continue to look at Mandalorian theory videos. Which I presume you guys do all day. Knew it. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, it's fun. Fun having. I love Rosario Dawson, so I'm always here for Rosario Dawson getting cast in things. She's awesome. So that's fun. And then being such a big character. You know, I'm an old man, but I am aware of the Ahsoka love. And yeah, she's pretty great, and I love Rosario Dawson, so it's a great match. And she was a lot of fun in the series. I don't know though. Is that a spoiler, Charlie? I don't know. Friday wasn't that long ago. Your classmates might want to be mad at you. Okay, I'm gonna have the head continue to come down here. So again, I'm looking for the arc. So now I got to kind of correct this arc. This leg is leading me there, but I'm gonna kind of have this go on. And then I want to twist this body just a bit more. Hi, Ryan. Welcome to class. So, Ryan, I'll be posting this class on my YouTube page for you guys to watch if you missed the class, the tutorial. But essentially, I'm just going through the posing for the final. So we're doing the posing for the final right now, and then you guys will hopefully be able to get into this next week. Or sorry, not next week. Hopefully you guys can start on your posing this week and have most of that done for next week. And when we go into the tweening, you guys can ask me any questions. Okay, so this is my posing, right? So starting pose, antic, the high point, low point, high point, low point, launch, high point of jump, low point of jump, the stretching pose, the landing, contact, overshoot, settle. Okay. So for my assignment, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 breakdown poses I did before I would want to have my tweening even involved at this point. But now what I want to do is I want to separate these into the timing I think I'm going to use. So I'm going to want 2 drawings in between my starting pose and my antics. So I'm going to count that out. Watch it. When do I want to start? Maybe I'll start at frame 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'll just move this over 1 frame. So that'll be enough into my antic. So I'll have two frames there. And then for my antic into this pose, I'm going to have another 2 drawings. So 1, and again, I'm just counting the frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that gives me enough space for 2 keys, right? So a blank frame, a key frame, a blank frame, a key frame, a blank frame, my next key. Okay. Same into this one. I might end up only using 1 drawing here, but I always kind of like to give myself the option. So I'm going to count out 2. 1, 2, 3. And then again here, same deal, same dealio. 1, 2, 3. Again here. I think this is too long. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then he's going to launch right into this pose, but it'll be on 2s. Will he? Maybe they'll have 1 tween in there to really like settle into that pose and come out of it. So it'll really favor this pose, and then he comes into this pose. I'll have at least one drawing there. And at least one more at the top there. And then he lands right into that on 2s. So that's there. And then he'll come into this. 2 more drawings there. And again, I'm just blocking this out. Like, I'm not married to this timing. Like, I can adjust this next week. But that'll be my timeline, essentially. So it'll end up being 60 frames. Okay. So let's watch the main blocking here. Okay. So at that point, once I have that, my next job now is to tween this, okay? So I group select all these. I hit Command K. Now this is going to let me know if I'm having any huge problems in my assignment. So you can see the body pretty much did what the body's supposed to do. It wasn't freaking out or anything. I don't have too many big flips or anything like that. It looks like just the frontmost arm needs a bit of work on the big jump. Obviously, the timing and the arcs all have to be refined quite a bit before I key this out. But that's what we're going to do next week, okay? So I'll save this, guys, and we'll attack this next week, and we'll come up with a finished version of this assignment for next week. And you guys will see what I'm looking for, okay? But remember, you're starting from a neutral pose into an antic. You're running, you're jumping, you're landing, and then settling into your a neutral pose again. You have to draw a scary monster element or a pit or a wall. It doesn't have to be a scary monster, but you have to some kind of element that the character has to evade, okay? All right. Any questions before you guys get the hell out of here and watch Mandalorian?